I will say that again. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Member Cafe. We're going to wait just a few moments. I see our numbers ticking up for those joining us, so I'll wait a minute or so before we get started. All right, so good afternoon and welcome to the June Member Cafe with Partners Health Management. My name is Ann Gluff and I am part of the member engagement team here at Partners. And so also joining me today is my coworker, Beth Brooks. She is our behind the scenes guru with Zoom, making sure everything's running nice and smooth. And our member engagement manager is here with us today, Cindy Troba. So just wanted to make sure you knew she was with us. So again, welcome. I'm going to introduce our guest speaker in just a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to go over just a few housekeeping items. One thing I wanted to let you know is that this session is being recorded. So please don't share any personal information during the call. In the Q&A or when you have the opportunity to ask a question. If you want to talk about a personal situation, a family member, you are welcome to reach out to us and we are happy to do a one-on-one conversation with you to help you with that scenario. So I mentioned the Q&A. So during our session, when our guest speaker is talking, I know a lot of times when you hear a speaker, you're thinking of questions, though they're asking you to wait to share that question. So I always forget. So we're going to give you that opportunity to use the Q&A. So right at the bottom of your screen, should be next to your chat bubble, you'll see Q&A, and that's where we want you to enter your questions. And when our guest speaker is done, then we will have a Q&A session so we can make sure your questions are addressed. You also have the opportunity to come off mute and talk if you choose to. You will see the chat bubble there as well. So it is disabled for you all as attendees, but we will probably be sharing information with you, maybe contact information, a great survey link at the end, that kind of thing we're going to put into the chat bubble. We're also offering this in closed caption. So if you do not need the closed caption or do need it, right at the bottom of your screen, you'll also see a closed caption button, and you can click on that to turn it on or off. All right, so I think I have covered all of our housekeeping. So right now, I would like to introduce to you our guest speaker. Her name is Casey Brown. She goes by, I am not doing this right at all, goes by, her pronouns are they and them. My apologies. But let me tell you a little bit about Casey. So empowering others to make healthy lifestyle changes is the truest passion. Studied human nutrition and dietetics at UNCG and is dedicated to sharing what she learned and will continue to learn with the community around. Seeing participants on a journey to a healthier me or our regional diabetes prevention program meet and exceed their personal health goals is what keeps me going, Casey says. So without further ado, I am going to let Casey take it from here and talk about nutrition and mental health.
All right. Well, it's wonderful to be here with you all. Yes, I'm very passionate about the diabetes prevention and management work that I'm involved with at Cabarrus Health Alliance, and very happy to be talking with you all about nutrition and mental health. Just a heads up, there is some vacuuming going on around me. And so I will try to speak up so that if there's any audio interference, that it doesn't come into play. All right, so let's just get into it. Okay. All right. So this is a quote that I found regarding nutrition and mental health from Thomas Edison. The doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. So I just thought that this was a great way to illustrate that this idea of nutrition and mental health being linked is not a new idea. It's absolutely not a new idea. And I can also say that when I was studying nutrition at UNCG, the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, it was never brought up. And so I am very excited to see that this is becoming more of a forefront of the conversation, that it definitely has been a missing piece as far as being focused on in as far as like the university studies of nutrition, and also just in just common knowledge about what you put into your body as far as food and beverages go, that it can impact your brain. All right, so not trying to come into heavy-handed with anything and overload y'all with info. So we're going to be talking about eating well for mental health. We're going to cover a little bit about mindful eating and also intuitive eating. All right, so I know it's lunchtime or right after lunch and want to keep everybody engaged. So there's a little poll that I created that you can either access this QR code using your phone, or Anne is going to drop a link in the chat and then the question is the same one that you see here on the presentation. What foods make you feel good? So what foods make you feel good? And I'm watching my screen here to see the responses as they start to come in. So I'll give y'all a couple moments. No right or wrong answer. So. Oh, I love what I'm seeing so far. Love it. All right, so feel free to keep responding, but I'm going to go over the ones that I see so far. I see pasta. Who doesn't love pasta? I see breads, definitely pizza with an exclamation point, mac and cheese, healthy foods, and comfort foods. I'm definitely in that category. Chocolate. Ooh, chocolate, chocolate. And then you got carbs and sugar. So y'all are my people for sure. And so, yeah, I really wanted to make it clear that, yeah, there's no wrong answer here. You know, we all have the foods that we know that it's like, yeah, this is what I eat because I know that it's going to nourish my body. And we all have that junk food that we're like, this is what I want to eat because I had a terrible day and I just want some Cheetos. Nobody put Cheetos on here, but clearly that's mine. All right, so I'm going to refresh one more time. All right, it looks like I captured everybody, but yeah, feel free, even if you were not able to access the QR code or the link, to just be thinking about that during the presentation. What foods make you feel good? And it doesn't have to be limited to like, oh, I feel super energetic after I eat this. It could be a pizza. All right, so moving on. So eating for mental health, like what is that? How do I do it? How do I make food choices? And again, I'm I'm definitely a person that's like an 80-20 advocate of eating healthy foods 80% of the time, and then let yourself just do what you want 20% of the time. And I know there's some people in the nutrition world that are like, no, like, Casey, don't say that. But I really find that it's much easier to be consistent with making healthy choices if you give yourself that leeway and you don't feel like you have to be always on the top of your game, always eating healthy. So, like you see here, that foods that have a lot of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants actually help to protect your brain from free radicals. And so that's just kind of a fancy way of saying that eating a variety of, say, produce, fruits, vegetables, and also incorporating whole grains, that's going to help your brain. It's going to help your brain to function at its best. It's also shown because, of course, here in America, anxiety, depression, especially following the pandemic, is at an all-time high. A lot of us are dealing with things with our mental health, even if it's not diagnosed. So we all have days that are rough. We all fall in some kind of category where our mental health is affected, even if you're not in therapy, even if you haven't been diagnosed. So we're all in that bucket some way or another, and there's no shame in that. That's another thing that I want to make sure that I really convey in this space, is that this is a safe space. a, this is a safe space. And so, yes, so the research has shown, and then I will be sharing out my PowerPoint with the leaders here. And so I did include the resources that I found and the last slide. And so if you would like to read the research that's behind this, that door is definitely open and those resources are there. So the resource has shown that a diet that's high in added sugars can actually worsen the symptoms of depression. And so that's where I would say, like, if you're having a really rough day, I know it can be tempting, we all want the sugar, but the research has shown that it can actually make you feel worse. If you're already having a really rough time and then you eat like a candy bar, or you eat half of that pizza or what, you're going to feel great in that moment, but it can actually worsen the symptoms that you're experiencing. And I know that if y'all are on this call, that you probably have been on calls before. And so you might have already talked about probiotics and prebiotics, AKA the good bacteria that you're trying to get in your gut. But this good bacteria that's in your gut can actually impact your energy level and your mood. And so I'm I'm kind of an anomaly among a lot of people that I know, because I really love kimchi. Kimchi is a fermented food from Asia that is kind of like, you either like it or you don't like it because it's very tangy, and but you can also get this healthy bacteria from yogurt, sauerkraut, kefir. That is a drink that you don't really hear a lot about here, but it's like a fermented yogurt drink, kind of like a smoothie. But this, never want anybody to feel like you have to rely on a supplement, that you can get these things through foods. I'm not anti-supplement, but I just want everybody to feel empowered that you don't have to always turn to a pill, that you can get it through your food. But yeah, so building that healthy gut bacteria can really boost your mood, boost your brain, and also just trying, and a lot of people, of course, everything's super expensive at the store right now, all of it. A bag of Lay's potato chips is like skyrocketed in price. So I know that produce, I get that a lot. Like, it's just not fitting in my budget. Frozen produce is not a bad thing. I'm definitely more of an advocate of frozen over canned, because canned is sat in there for a long time, and a lot of times it's got added salt and sugar. And then I'm just trying to give people the best option while not making you feel like you have to always go for that fresh produce, because I know that it's very pricey. But frozen is absolutely a good option, especially for smoothies. Frozen fruit is an amazing additive to smoothies, especially because you don't have to worry about it going bad. You buy like a carton of, say, blueberries or strawberries, and then you've only got a couple of days max to get down the gullet and then, it starts to mold. But when it's frozen, you have more time. So processed foods, y'all know that they are designed to make you crave. You don't even need research to tell you that. It's like if you open a bag of your favorite whatever, goldfish, Cheez-Its, Lay's potato, and you have one, you just want to keep going. Popcorn, like that white cheddar popcorn, you just keep shoveling it in. It's like your brain, even if you weren't very hungry and you opened it, you'll still be driven to just finish that bag. And it's the additives that are put in these products are, because they want to sell more and more and more of that product. And so they want to get you hooked. And it works, it works on me as much as anybody. And so, and compare that to like a salad. I've never talked with anybody that was like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't stop eating the cucumbers and celery and tomatoes in my salad. I just finished off the whole bag of everything. And so just that mental comparison of when science science is a beautiful thing, but when it's more and more involved in your food, they're doing stuff with it so that they can sell more. And so just know that it's not you, because some people will be like, why can I not just control myself with these processed foods that I love? It's like, oh, like it's messing with your brain chemistry and all kinds of things. And so I know the big conversation piece for a long time has been inflammation in the body, that it can lead to all kinds of issues over time. And so these nutritious foods, again, the vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants that you get through a variety of whole foods, AKA, the fruits, the vegetables, the whole grains, can reduce that inflammation. And then that actually affects your brain activity in a positive way, which I think that's just that's fantastic news. Fantastic news to know that when you do, again, not saying to make these healthy choices all the time, but just know that when you do, that you are positively impacting your brain. The fancy term, neurotransmitter activity. And then, so since I work with diabetes prevention and management, I get all the time that people are making positive changes, they're making healthy lifestyle changes, and then they get frustrated because it's not happening as fast as they want it to. It's like, what do you mean? I exercised 5 days this week, I was only exercising once every blue moon, why haven't I lost 5 pounds? And so that's where it's the same encouragement here, that it can take time. It's like, I didn't eat, any chips for 3 days, but I still don't feel this monumental effect that Casey promised me that I was going to get when I ate with my brain in mind. And that's really what you're doing. You're eating with your brain in mind. But just give it some time. It takes time, just like when you're starting a new medication. If you've been prescribed, your doctor will tell you like, hey, it's going to take this a little bit of time to get in your system. It's going to take a little time for your body to adapt and absorb, and for you to really get the benefits of what I've prescribed. So it's the same thing when you're ingesting food. So just give it a little bit of time. Okay. So mindful eating, I really feel like it plays a huge role in eating for your mental health, because it really helps you to become present. So, like sometimes when you're in a meeting like this, you're like writing your grocery list on your phone and you're eating something on the side, and you might be setting up another appointment that's going to come later on down the week. We're always constantly doing more and more things, and technology doesn't really help with that, right? Some of you, some of y'all, I hope not, because I'm not a big fan of people being in their cars and driving and being on calls, but I know that it happens because I've definitely had participants in our classes be on, they're driving and they're also on the call, and I'm like, please don't look at the camera. But we really don't take, as far as our culture here in America, don't really, aside from like a family get together or something really special, we don't really set aside like a sacred, so to speak, time of eating. Eating is kind of like, hey, I need to grab something and eat it while I walk to my car. I need to slug this shake. I need to, it's kind of like eating by and large is becoming like something that you kind of shove to the side. It's something that you just kind of get done, check off your list because you know that you need to eat. But mindfulness, as far as incorporating it into your eating, is like it says here, like you're becoming fully aware. And I encourage anybody that I talk with as far as health goes to try to eat one meal mindfully out of the week and just see what's different about it. See if, did you digest it better? Do you, because, if you shove this stuff down and later you're like, oh, I'm kind of cramping up a little bit. Just see if eating that one meal in a mindful way, see if you felt more calm, see if you felt more present, if you felt more appreciative. I encourage people while they're doing that time to think about all the people that were involved in getting you this food. The truck driver that was involved, the people that are working at the grocery store, not just the people that are stocking it, the people that are working the cash register, the management. There's just offering that appreciation for everything that's going into can really make yourself more open. And there's a lot of studies too that feeling gratitude and appreciation in general, not just as far as food goes, but that makes a positive impact on your brain as well, because it activates that part of your nervous system that can help you to become more calm. It makes you more open. And so I'm a big advocate. I know that, again, I definitely don't eat mindfully all the time. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll try to take a couple mindful bites of my meal. So let's say my first 10 bites of my meal, I'll do it mindfully. And I'm left-handed, so I'll use my right hand. So I'll use my right hand, it slows me down. Some people are like, no, I got so good at that I had to start using chopsticks. So, there's no right or wrong way. I know that's a lot of people are like, all kind of got that all or nothing kind of mentality of like, no, I have to do it by a book or I have to follow some plan I read online. But no, if you find the way that works for you, anything that kind of helps you to become more present, I'd just be curious to see, how different you feel. And then again, it's sending that feedback loop, and it does kind of help you, even if say you were eating pizza or mac and cheese, or you just indulging in your cravings. If you're doing it mindfully, you're more likely that you won't overindulge, because you're giving your brain and your body a time to connect and kind of talk to each other, versus the faster that you do it, if you're say watching a movie and you're just eating and eating, and then later you're like, oh man, I was full like 30 minutes ago. So mindful eating kind of, it puts a little bit of break in there. In intuitive eating, so mindful eating, intuitive eating, I'm a big believer in both. As far as, so intuitive eating really is an advocate of being anti-diet culture. And so I'll give y'all a second while my throat's a little dry. Let's look at this list. And some of y'all might be familiar with intuitive eating. It's not, again, it's not a new thing either, but it does, it's again trying to like change your mental relationship with eating. Because as far as anytime I've talked with people about really restrictive diets, there's a lot of fear in there. There's a lot of, I need to make this happen, I need to wear such and such to this wedding, I've got this reunion coming up, I've got to make it happen. It's not, I've never had anybody talk with me and it be like a holistic way of like, I want to do something really positive for myself, I want to nourish myself, I want to really change my relationship with food to be more positive. It's usually like, hey, I got to get this done. And so intuitive eating, again, like mindful eating, it's really inviting you to change how you see food, that this is life-giving. Even when it's mac and cheese, it still has protein, it's got fat in there, it's got carbs. Is it something that you want to eat 3 meals, 365 days? No, of course not. But it's still giving benefit to your body as far as providing energy. And so there can be a lot of change around that because, and I know that this has to be true because I've had countless times where people in the diabetes prevention class will have gone out for a weekend with their friends and they come to class and weighing in is a portion of it. And they'll say, I just know I gained 5 pounds this weekend. I just know that I did. I ate what I wanted to eat and I really don't want to step on that scale. And a lot of times they will step on the scale and they'll either be the same or less. And I'll say, think about the attitude that you were having that weekend. You know, the entire weekend you were invested in life, you were present, you were excited, you were doing things, and then you were eating what you wanted, but you were also eating with a group of people. You know, you're probably more likely when you're engaged in conversation to take more pauses in between your bites of food because you're having, you know, all of those things can, I really, again, that's a big proponent I feel of mental health is really change, not seeing food as your enemy, not seeing food as this is going to put weight on me no matter what. Because I know and there's a lot of body shame that goes on because of the, you know, the pictures of the magazines that gets to all of us. And nobody looks like that, you know. They're all airbrushed and photoshopped and so, but all of this kind of trickles down to I need to be a size 0 to be healthy. I need to only eat salad and celery to be healthy. But really it's like food is nourishing. We all want to eat the foods that we crave. Everybody wants cheesecake every now and again or whatever your dessert is. And so intuitive eating, it really gets you to, again, like it says on here, like question your ideas about food. Where did they come from? You know, where did these ideas come from? Are they my ideas? I think that's a good question to ask. Like, is this my own idea or is it something that I've been influenced to believe? Is it my own idea or is it something that I've been influenced by the culture, the people around me? Did my friend go on a juice diet for 10 days and drop 10 pounds? But I really don't want to do that because I know that I'd be hangry all the time. And so really want people to, because you're not really enjoying the dessert if you're judging yourself, right? It's like if you're having the piece of chocolate cake, but you also have that voice in the back of your head that's like, you shouldn't be eating this. You should be eating a salad. Why are you still doing this? You're not even able to fully enjoy the experience that you're giving yourself. And there's no shame in chocolate cake. I think that's a big thing. A big thing that I want to help people with, especially during this talk with you all, is eliminating the shame. You know, like you don't have to feel shame for having cravings. You don't have to feel shame for not eating perfectly based off of somebody you follow on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or anywhere on social media. Like you know what's best for your body. And that's another thing about intuitive eating is that it gets you to listen to your own body. You know, instead of going outside of yourself and being like, oh, I need to go keto, I need to do the Beachbody diet, I need to definitely cut out all carbs. It's like you intuitively know what your body needs and wants, but it might take some time to kind of tune into that. But your body is very smart, it's very intelligent. And that's something, as far as my nutrition background, that I'm very like keyed in on empowering people to really listen to your body, you know, to really, you know, like I feel like the more that you listen, that there might be a day, believe it or not, that you'd be like, you know what, I really want a salad today over mac and cheese. And you might shock yourself because you're like, what? Like, why would I never thought that I would ever choose it. But it might be that you're tuning into your body and it's like, you know what? Like, I really feel like I'm craving salad. And it could be that you're lacking a nutrient that day that the salad is going to provide. So really want to encourage you all that your body is intelligent, that you can listen to it, and to not be afraid that it's going to lead you here, there, and everywhere, because your body is wired for survival. It's wired to get you, and that includes your brain. It includes you feeling, and I'm not talking about slugging down an energy drink so that your brain is awake, because we all know that this is not what this talk is about. Because it's like, yeah, that's going to get you like, ooh, like I'm getting this report done, or I'm able to weed my whole garden and plant the rose bush and do this, that, and the third, but then you're going to crash. What we're specifically talking about is having your brain feel more stable, so that you're able to have clear thoughts, you're able to go through your day, make intelligent decisions, think critically, not the like, ooh, I feel like I could stay up for 5 days and I don't need to go to bed. Yeah. No, no, no. So, and in the email that I share with Anne that has my PowerPoint, I'm also going to include the link to this habit mapper. So this is something I just learned about the other day, that Dr. Judd is someone out of, I'm not sure exactly who he works with now, but I know he's worked with Princeton before, AKA really smart guy. And he's somebody that used to, I think that it really got triggered during medical school. He was having all out panic attacks all the time. He said that he would wake up with them, just sweating in the middle of the night, just panicking. And he said that what he turned to was mindfulness. So I know a lot of you are probably familiar with mindfulness, that whatever you're experiencing, that you just kind of, you don't judge it, you kind of become present with it, observe it without saying, oh, I can't believe you're feeling, why are you freaking out? That chatter, like when you're eating the chocolate cake and the mac and cheese. And so he found that he was really able to, as a therapist, really, he was trying to get people to see that the results of some of the behaviors that they were doing, the results were not necessarily what they wanted. So say it was smoking. I read a testimonial on the website where it was somebody had been smoking for 67 years, I believe, a long time, been smoking a long time. And they started following these principles and really started to analyze, like, all right, what triggers, like you see here, over here with the triggers, like what triggers this smoking? I'm smoking, let's say they're smoking 10 cigarettes a day. What are the things that are triggering it? Is it just the memory, almost like a muscle memory? Like this is just something I do at this time. This is something that I do to soothe this thing that's happened, that I'm stressed. And then what are the results? What's my bank account looking like from smoking 10 cigarettes a day, 365? Are there things that it's holding me back from? Is there a vacation that I've been wanting to take, but since I'm spending all this money on the cigarettes, I'm not able to take that vacation? And really works through getting you to unpack those things. And there's even an app, a free app that goes along with this, called Unwinding Anxiety, which I've downloaded, but I haven't tapped that much into it since I just learned about this over the weekend. But I'm very excited to test this out on myself, just that really helping you to see it, myself specifically, in this same bucket with you all, to see like, what are the things that I do? Because I'm somebody, since we're talking about mental health, I tend to spiral. So it's like, if I get stressed out, I tend to start like making it more, so to speak. Like, oh gosh, like I got stuck in traffic and I'm going to be late on that thing that I was working on. Oh gosh, I've got that meeting later, and then my brain just starts that little tornado. And then, so my behavior would be the spiraling, the mental spiraling of just making it worse. Like, not putting the brakes on that thought process at all. Like, yeah, let's just turn up the volume, crank it to 100. And then what triggered it? Yeah, the getting stuck in traffic, or getting that email like, We've all had it where it's like that day where it's like, I don't need to get asked to do one more thing, and definitely not something that I didn't know was coming would be a trigger for me. And then the results. Am I getting the results that I want from this spiraling thought process? Again, no shame towards myself. No shame, I've done it, it's happened, it'll keep happening, I'm sure. But taking the time again myself to think of, is it productive? Is there something that I would rather do that's going to get me a better result? Do I need to advocate for myself more? Do I need to reach out to that person that's been asking for last minute requests and just say, hey, I've got a lot on my plate and I want to work with you. I'm just somebody that's going to need a week's time to prepare for these things that you've been wanting to partner with me on. Anything, it's those kinds of things. And it can definitely be used towards food. It could even be that you are feeling a lot of shame about what you're eating, that your behavior is feeling shame. Like, what's triggering it? That you still like chocolate, that you still have these cravings, that you still crave carbs, but all your friends are keto. And then, is this result of feeling shame, is it giving you the solution that you're looking for? Is this thought process, is it helping you build yourself up? Is it helpful? Is it moving you along in your health journey? And you can kind of fill this in for a myriad of things. But I feel like I know that the more I kind of keep a check on my mental health, I can definitely say that it impacts my exercise and my eating habits, that I'm way more likely to choose the foods that are going to nourish me and to choose the activities that are going to nourish my body as far as physical activity goes, if I'm not just in a stressed out state. In the stressed out state, I'm probably going to stop at QT and get the hot Cheetos on the way home. It's happened, and I just know that that's me. Again, I keep reiterating that I'm in the same boat as you all. It's not like I'm some expert, that I got a degree and the degree made me not crave anything. It's absolutely not true. But yeah, so I'll send that out in the email with the PowerPoint, this link to this PDF. More than welcome to print that out. There's no charge or anything for it, no charge for the app. I'll also include the information, the download link for that app and you can also look for it in your app store on your phone. But just a resource out there, because I really believe that, again, with nutrition and mental health being linked, I also believe that the more that you do for your mental health, it's also going to impact the food choices that you make. All right, and then these are the resources. Again, that will go with the PowerPoint. And then I'm open for any questions. If I do not know the answer, just know that I will look for it and I'll send what I find in the email that I sent to Anne. So yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Thank you, Casey, for great information about mindful eating, intuitive eating, great information. So Beth, do we have any questions in the Q&A for Casey?
We do not, but I encourage anyone to put that in the Q&A and we will definitely ask it to Casey and they will answer it as best as they can.
Yeah, don't be shy. There's no wrong questions. I know some people be like, oh, should I ask it? It's like, yes, absolutely.
Okay, one has popped up and it says, my son is in a group home and they follow a state menu, which includes a lot of canned foods. How can we influence the state to offer better menus and choices?
I think that's a fantastic question. And I'm trying to think, as far as because I know that that budget and that allocation of food is set by someone that's higher up than the people that are administering and running the group home. And so I would have to look into that and see, because I know that it's about advocating in the political realm of things. Because is this and I don't know if you can chat back, and is this a state run group home or is it a privately owned group home? Because I know that that would impact it. If it's privately run, there's a little bit more leverage as far as interacting with the people that are actually running that group home. But if it's a state run group home, there's all kinds of pots of funding that are coming in, and it's kind of like being an advocate for healthier foods in the school system, which is a long a long effort.
The answer to that question is private company owns it, but the state monitors it. How do
Okay.
we get more nutritionists involved? They are hard to find.
Okay. And so I'm trying to think, at least if it were me, the first thing that I would do to be reach out to some level of management there and say, as a parent of someone who is accessing this service, I'm concerned with the quality of the nutrition that is being offered here. And then I think that that's to just get that conversation started, because you might be the first person that's ever brought it up or thought about it or wanted to advocate for a better access to the quality of nutrition that you believe should be there. And so I would just encourage that. Um, and then kind of go from there. But with it being privately run, and then of course the state coming in and kind of doing quality checks and quality control, it seems like you would have more say so as far as interacting with the management there.
So there are
Casey, do you mind if I add something to that?
Oh, sure, yes. Because it's definitely
Um,
not my realm of expertise in any way.
Yeah, so if the individual in the group home has a treatment plan or perhaps goals to work on, including nutrition into those goals might be really helpful. And what Casey mentioned is having that conversation with the management there about it, and maybe sharing some information that you have about how food does impact behavior. So just a few options or ideas for you. And we'd be glad to talk further with you about that if you are looking for some more ideas. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about member engagement. If you're not familiar with our team here at Partners, we could always have a conversation about it.
Thank you, Anne. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Great minds think alike.
It's exactly right. If anyone else has any questions or comments, please feel free to put it in the Q&A.
All right. So Casey, we want to thank you for joining us today and sharing great information with us. And so I know you said you needed to exit to work in another project, so feel free to do that.
Oh, thank you.
So again, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you all.
Bye. All right, so we still have about 15 minutes. So Beth, if you want to bring up our partners information, I can go ahead and move through that and share just a little bit information with you about Partners Health Management. All right, you can go ahead and whenever you're ready, Beth, just go ahead and go past that first one there. All right, so Partners, if you're not familiar with us at all, we are an insurance plan for Medicaid and state funded dollars. So we have a contract with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services to ensure that there's access to care for people who need supports in mental health, substance use disorder, intellectual and developmental disabilities, and traumatic brain injury. So we are an MCO, a managed care organization for the state. But we are also a member care organization. We're super proud to share with you that we're a member care organization. So we provide education, advocacy, and support for our members and families that receive services in our area. And then later on this year, we'll be managing the tailored plan, which you may or may not have heard about. It's a focused plan for those who have more complex needs with intellectual disabilities and mental health, substance use disorder. We also currently manage North Carolina Medicaid Direct for behavioral health only. And so when I say behavioral health, what I want you to think about is those individuals who need treatment and support with mental health, substance use disorder, and we can also just lump everybody in there under behavioral health, intellectual and developmental disabilities, and traumatic brain injury. Those are the people that we provide services and supports and treatment for. If you ever have any questions or concerns, you can give us a call at 888-235-HOPE or 4673. That will take you to our Partners Access Call Center. They'll be able to answer your questions or get you to someone here at Partners that can help you. We serve 14 counties. You can see them right here on the screen. Not going to read them all, but we serve 14 counties in the kind of the northwest part of the state, not all the way over to the west. Next slide. Just taking a look at the Partners website, one thing I want to tell you about is our member portal. It's called Member Connect. So if you are a Medicaid member or a state-funded recipient through Partners, you can access an account through Member Connect. And Beth, I'm going to go to the next slide. It'll kind of show them, give you a good picture of what it looks like when you get in there. So you'll be able to go in there and perhaps look at documents that have been uploaded by care management. You can look at your benefit information. You can also send a message through the message function straight to our Partners team, and they can get information for you or get you to the right person. You can also access resource information and handbooks, your member handbook for Medicaid, or your handbook for state-funded recipients, and a whole lot more. So I encourage you to check it out. Member Connect, top right corner of the Partners website. Now let's switch gears for just a moment and talk about transitions of care. So Partners is one of the current 6 MCOs across the state. And then there are also Medicaid plans called standard plans. And so sometimes there's a reason to change between health plans. So one reason may be that your individual service needs have changed. Could be that you moved from one county to another. Could be that your Medicaid changed. Regardless, Partners has a transition of care team to support you during that process and to help make sure that that transition is smooth. If you do need to make that change, you can reach out to your current health provider, whether it be a mental health, substance use, intellectual disability provider, or a physical health provider, and they can help you go through this process by submitting a form called a request to move form. Or you can call the North Carolina Enrollment Broker at 833-870-5500, and they can support you with that transition. Member engagement, that is the team that Beth and Cindy and I are part of. And so what do we do here in member engagement? We help you navigate. We educate, we do information sessions online and in person. We're here for you to listen and help you get to where you need to be. So you can call into our member engagement line during the week. And there's, thank you, Beth. There's the phone number right there in the center of the screen, 704-884-2729. Our goal is to get a live answer for you. If you happen to get the voicemail, you'll get a call back within 24 hours. If you prefer to communicate by email, you can send an email to memberquestions@partnersbhm.org, and we can communicate that way as well. So member engagement, we're here for you to help answer your questions and help you navigate our healthcare system. So next slide. Pix Health mobile app. If y'all have not heard of the Pix Health mobile app, this is something that we offer here at Partners. It is a mobile app that is focused on your mental wellness, on loneliness. It has some great screenings. It has some fun things in it too. It has some games, some coloring, the ability to message, and just get a good feel on your mental wellness for that day. It's also connected to a compassionate call center. So if you're really struggling, you can talk with one of the individuals in our compassionate call center. Sometimes they'll connect you to us here at Partners to give you continued support. So the Pix Health mobile app, super easy to download to your phone. You can do that by going to hipix.com. It's right there in the center of your screen. And Beth is dropping that information into the chat for you as well. So Pix Health, check it out. All right, so let's talk about who you should call if you have questions or perhaps you're in a crisis. If you are currently receiving services through a provider, your provider agency is your first responder. You're going to want to connect with them in a crisis. If you have a Partners care manager, one is assigned to you, you can call your care manager directly and they should be able to help you. If you're not in services, you have general questions, just like I just mentioned, you can call member engagement or send us an email at memberquestions@partnersbhm.org, or you can absolutely call our Partners call center at 888-235-4673. We encourage you to do so. And now let me talk for just a moment about our Consumer and Family Advisory Committee. This is known as CFAC. So CFAC is a volunteer group. It's made up of Medicaid members and or their family members, and they represent you. They represent the voice of those who receive services. They receive a lot of information from Partners, are able to discuss it, give their perspective and opinion. They really advocate on behalf of the members to improve our public behavioral health system. So if you're interested in being part of CFAC, please reach out to us. You can send an email to cfac@partnersbhm.org. You can also reach out to Cindy. She just gave us a nice wave there. She's our member engagement manager, and she's also the liaison to our CFAC. You can reach out to her directly at 828-323-8090. You can also take a look at our website right there at the bottom of the screen. You see Partners website for the Consumer and Family Advisory Committee. All right, next slide. All right, 988. Have y'all heard about the new Suicide and Crisis Lifeline? There's been a lot of information on the news about that. So what happens when you call 988? It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call. There are trained crisis counselors to answer. They offer help for people experiencing suicidal thoughts or other behavioral health crises. There are translators there in Spanish and other languages, and TTY for deaf and hard of hearing. So 988 for help with suicide and crisis. Staying in touch with us is super, super important. You know, there's a lot going on in our public health system today, a lot of changes being made with Medicaid transformation, and you may be getting information in the mail. So you want to keep your contact information up to date. If you have Medicaid, you're going to want to reach out to your local health, local Department of Social Services to update your information. They're the keeper of that information, and we get that information on a regular basis passed over to us. If you're a person that receives state funds, you're going to want to call Partners Access. That same phone number, 888-235-4673, if you have any changes in your contact information. That's your mailing address or your phone number. All right, so we have reached the end of our presentation. So we have just a few moments left. So if you have any questions at this time, we would be most happy to try to answer your questions or take them back so we can get back to you.
Do not have any questions in the Q&A, but I encourage anyone that has questions to go ahead and add them right now.
All right, so I will take silence as no questions at the moment. You can always reach out to us at the phone numbers we shared or at memberquestions@partnersbhm.org. But thank you so much for joining us today and spending this hour along with us. And we hope that you will join us next month for Member Cafe as well. So you all have a good afternoon. We're giving you just a couple of minutes back in your day. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.